stock of Macy's finally ready to play catch-up? Oh, it's been a tough 2019 so far for shareholders, but with so many other retail names making comebacks, I gotta wonder if Macy's stock is just too cheap to ignore. I mean, it trades at less than 8 times earnings, it's got a 6.2% yield and a much improved balance sheet. Earlier today, we had a chance to check in with Jeff Gennette. He's the chairman and the CEO of Macy's. He was at the company's beautiful flagship store in Herald Square. I sure like what I heard. Hope you do too. Take a look. Jeff, I was going to say this, but I don't like burying the lead. We are at Herald Square, and I just came through Story. And this is it. This seems like the mark that you're trying to make on Macy's.
I think this is the evolution of what brick and mortar needs to be. You know, brick and mortar needs to go from a place of transaction to a place of experience. And so Story is one of our first steps in really doing that at scale.
I saw it was filled with color. Gorgeous, sensitive to sensory beauty, which is something that reminds me that you had to fix the balance sheet first, but now you are playing offense. Story's offense.
Story is offense, right. But we did have to get the balance sheet right. So when you think about, we throw off a lot of cash, and we had to get the balance sheet right. So the first thing is we want to use that cash to invest in the business. We want to make sure that we have a good dividend. That's something that we have committed to our shareholder. We had to get the balance sheet right as step 3. And so getting the debt out. So we spent the last 4 years, got $2.5 billion off of the debt, and $1.5 billion just, or $1.1 billion just in 2018. And now we'll think about share repurchase in the future, and we'll talk to our board about that. But for now, making sure that we get back into the leverage ratio that we want to be
Okay,
at.
that's important because the 6% yield, we get so many calls about your stock, and I always say, look, the balance sheet's good, the dividend is good, and that was something you prided yourself on. But I'm so glad that at this point, you're able to do all the things that you told me that you had in your head. Beautiful things that really are exciting for anybody who comes in.
Yes. So, you know, Jim, when we look at kind of the brand right now, there's kind of the 4 stages of growth.
Okay.
So we needed to get comp store growth. And so we started doing that in the 4th quarter of 2017, now 5 quarters in a row. Right. Second thing was, how do you get market share growth? And so we had a 4.5-point gap at the end of 2017. We narrowed that to 2 points to general market in 2018. We're not going to be satisfied until we're taking overall market share, and we're doing that business by business. Third point of growth is making sure that the customer franchise is healthy, and we get new customers into the brand with the same speed that we've been taking care of the existing ones. And then the last stage of growth, which we need to show the street, is how we get profitability growth.
Right.
And so right now we're very focused on that. We've got our new CFO, Paula Price, and Hal Lawton focused on that. We call it Funding the Future. We've got all these efficiencies and productivity buckets that we're playing with because we're going to keep growing the top line, but over time, we are going to show how we're going to be able to grow the bottom line as well.
All right, so when I get out of college, what do? I get the Macy's credit cards.
Yeah.
The first one. It's one of the great assets that you have. But I knew to come to Macy's because it was exciting and new and different, and I finally had a couple bucks in my pocket so I could come here. How do you get the next generation to come in? How do we get them to find about Story?
So this is really our opportunity to be where the customer is fishing in terms of marketing. So where are we going to be in the social space? What are we going to be doing with all of our experiences? You know, the Thanksgiving Day Parade, all the special events that we do, products that we do, and then what do we do in the communities? So one of the things that I think is Macy's competitive mode as an omni-channel retailer, we stand for fashion, we stand for celebration, and we stand for community. So our opportunity with all of our great teams to be in the communities through our Partners in Time initiatives, what we do in terms of donations. Customers do care about our brand a lot, and if we give them a reason to come into our store and create experiences like what you see around you, they're going to keep coming back. That's our mission.
You used the word celebration. What happens if I'm here the moment the door opens?
So what you have right now, what we're looking at right here is our beauty hall.
Right.
You were going to see fragrance testing. You're going to see special events in Story up there. We just walked it, and it's just like the store just opened. You saw crafts going on. You saw kids being engaged. They were on the light bright wall. You know, you see, parents that basically were making pom-poms out of keychains. I mean, you go into the men's side of the floor, you're going to see the market at Macy's. You're going to see. So in a flagship, we've got that wired. In our magnet stores, which is about 350 stores, we're really working on that. In our neighborhood stores, which is the other part of our store segmentation, we're working on how we can be the most efficient experience for stores that customers still want to be in.
Now, can this scale? How many can you put Story in? You've got the Growth 50 going to 150.
Yes.
How do you get this across your whole panoply?
Yeah, so this was one where we opened this. We normally would have opened this and we would have done it in one store and we would have tested it. We brought Story about a year ago and we got this thing up and running and scaled in 36 stores in 8 months. That's the speed that we're now trying to work at in the company. And we've got new teams of people that are focused on multi-hats and how they're able to contribute to that. So this thing could scale to a lot more doors. And what am I doing in each of the doors is really where I'm focused. So I've got many new mechanisms by which I can bring experiences that involve all 5 senses into our building.
Okay, I am enamored of the Blue Mercury, which is about a quarter mile from me.
Yeah.
And that's where we go. I know that we're supposed to go online, but we like to go because my wife likes to try things on. You've got fabulous growth with Blue Mercury. Where do you put the incremental dollar? Because backstage you got great growth. How do you decide, okay, that's the area I'm going to fund?
Yeah, so what we did in 2018 was we really focused on 5 initiatives, and we have 5 initiatives that we're taking into 2019. 3 of those continue, 2 are new. Our beauty destination, which includes Blue Mercury,
Right.
is we must win in beauty. And so when it comes in different pieces and parts, fragrances, we're already the nation's headquarters. Skincare, we figured and cracked the code in 2018. We're growing that. Color cosmetics, we're really trying to figure that out. We're using Blue Mercury as a laboratory for that. We've got Blue Mercury now in Macy's. So Blue Mercury fits into our overall opportunity to win in beauty.
I'm hearing you the most enthused, which is right, we're also at home for you. So I have to believe that some of this is because both high-end and low-end consumer are spending at your place.
That's correct. And that's really where we wanted to go with Backstage. Because, we're kind of in the middle land where you have in price points, and that can be a deadly land, or it gives you the opportunity and flexibility to flex up or flex down depending on your consumer. So Backstage is going out the door at about 1/3 of the retail as the balance of Macy's. Okay. We've now got that built into almost 200 of our brick and mortar stores, and successfully.
All right, let's talk about the competition.
Yeah.
I mean, Amazon is formidable. Bezos just today. He's obviously focused. We said he might not be focused. He's challenging rivals to match him on $15 minimum wage and benefits. What did you say to Jeff Bezos?
What I'd say is that your culture is everything. And how your team of colleagues feel about you as a brand and how you as a trusted employer and how you take care of them is really important. So this is something we are hyper-focused on.
But wage?
So wage, we look at it in every single community that we're in. What we decided to do with the tax savings in 2018 is we decided to put that back into the community of our colleagues. And so we created this thing called Path to Growth. So every single colleague, all 130,000, get a quarterly bonus as a result of the production of that store, that call center. So I was in Cumberland, which is in our Atlanta store, last week. I went onto the dock. Okay, so this is dock. These are colleagues that you generally don't see. They receive goods. I went up to one of them and say, how do you think about Path to Growth? And this colleague said, you know what? If I get these goods off this conveyor belt and I get it onto the sales floor, I know that that's going to be a faster sell-through, the store will do better, and that's going to improve the overall production of this building, and I'm going to be able to get my incentive program. 96% of our colleagues in 2018, we paid an incentive to, and we just took our pulse survey. So this is where we measure how the colleagues feel about our organization. 70% of our 130,000 employees took it, and we were 4 points higher than we were. It was our all-time high in terms of how they're feeling about the brand, how they're being treated. Our retention rates are up, our turnover rates are down. We're always looking at how we take care of our colleagues.
I was going to ask you about turnover because some of we talk about the great retailers, the Jim Sinegal, Frank Blake, they always teach us the same thing. If you stop turnover, then you have people who know their customer,
right,
and you don't have to waste all that money and time training. So this is really great news.
That's good news. Now, we still have our problems. We still have areas where our turnover is up. We have it in certain stores where you don't have the right leader. I mean, we're always working on it, and you're never done in our business.
So what do you say about people who continue to say brick and mortar in the mall is dead?
Yeah. I would tell you, Jim, that this was one of the big things for us in 2018. If I look at things that I'm most proud of what happened in the last year, was the change in our brick and mortar trend. We figured out the right investment strategy to get a bank of our stores, in good positive comps with good profitability. And this works when brick and mortar is working in addition to robust digital growth, in addition to a great mobile experience. That's our competitive moat. Healthy brick and mortar, strong digital, great, mobile experience. So we've got to get brick and mortar healthier, and I think we have the formula for it.
All right, now you are competitive, and I know you were not that happy with the last quarter.
I wasn't.
And how is it going to change from quarter to quarter? What did you do? Because I know that you're not complacent.
Yeah.
I know that you didn't just say, we're just going to keep doing the same thing, it'll get better.
Right.
That's not you.
Yes. So that was, I think, the point of 2018 for us. It was a good year. We were going into the fourth quarter with a great year. And we did stumble in the fourth quarter. We had our fifth quarter of positive comps, but it was not what we had planned for. So we have taken that apart. We've analyzed it every which way. There's some events that we don't expect to repeat. There was a fire that happened in one of our... But at the end of the day, you know, was our content what the customer wanted? Was our marketing as sticky as it needed to be? Did we need to have new public customers coming into our brand? We were highly self-critical about that. We have the game plan. We're not going to repeat that. I expect that the investors need to see that we can win in holiday of 2019, that we're a show me with respect to that. And we're very committed to doing that.
All right, I'm leaving it right there because I like what you just said. That's Jeff Gennette. He's Chairman and CEO of Macy's. Jeff, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jim. Great to see you.
Booyah! Jim Cramer here from Mad Money. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube. Click here to subscribe and get the jump on my exclusives with CEOs, plus market news, investing advice, and a whole lot more.